My best friend, Zach Taylor, was complaining to me again. He said his girlfriend had a crazy high sex drive and he could barely keep up with her in bed. I couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy, because my own fiancée, Chloe Vance, was completely ice cold. She absolutely detested intimacy. Years ago, Chloe was assaulted, leaving her with severe psychological trauma. Ever since, she panicked whenever a man touched her. I loved her, so I respected her boundaries and locked my own desires away. Today was Zach's wedding day. He asked me to take the 10-carat diamond ring he prepared and deliver it to his bride in the bridal suite. As I walked in, I saw a familiar back sitting in front of the vanity mirror, wearing a stunning white lace wedding dress. When my eyes locked onto the butterfly tattoo on her shoulder blade, my entire body went numb. I could never mistake it. Zach's bride was none other than my frigid fiancée, Chloe. Sitting next to her was our mutual friend, Ashley. Chloe, are you really going through with this? If Ethan finds out, he's going to lose his mind. Chloe paused, a flash of pain crossing her eyes before instantly vanishing. He's in New York, thousands of miles away. My assistant locked down all the media channels. He won't hear a single rumor. Ashley panicked. But you can only have one legal husband. What about your 5 years with Ethan? We won't divorce because Ethan and I never legally registered our marriage at City Hall. The papers we signed were fake. Chloe's voice was bone-chillingly cold. I leaned against the hallway wall, clutching the ring box so hard that the metal edges cut deep into my palm. Drip, drip. Fresh blood splattered onto the marble floor. She admitted it. Our marriage was a lie. What did those 5 years of romance, surprises, and devotion even mean to her? Chloe's expression softened into something tender as she continued. Years ago, when I was drugged at that party, I ended up in Zach's bed by mistake. I got pregnant with his child. I couldn't let our daughter grow up without a father. I moved, slipping the ring box into my pocket. The two people I trusted most in this world had been sleeping together behind my back, and they had a 4-year-old child to show for it. I wanted to storm in. I wanted to tear those two cheaters apart. But Chloe's next words stripped away any right I had to complain. When Victoria found out about Zach and me, I thought she would hate me for betraying Ethan, Chloe murmured, her eyes shimmering with emotion. But instead, she thanked me. Because of this, she found her biological son. Zach is the real heir to the Reynolds family. Ethan has been living high on the hog in Zach's place for over 20 years, while Zach was suffering out there. Zach was the one who was supposed to be my childhood sweetheart. He was the one who was supposed to live this luxury life with me. Ashley was stunned. Then what about Ethan? You're just going to throw him away like trash. He only got to be with me because he stole Zach's identity. All I feel for him now is a bit of pity. As Chloe's voice drifted off, I clenched my teeth so hard they nearly shattered. The words child of a fraud and thief who stole a life echoed relentlessly in my head. I turned and walked out of the wedding venue. Behind me, the minister was starting the vows. I paused, my footsteps dragging. At our commitment ceremony years ago, Chloe's father had thought she hated the arranged marriage with me and tried to swap the groom. When Chloe realized it wasn't me at the altar, she had thrown a massive tantrum, chasing me all the way to London to beg me back. It was the same grandeur, the same luxury cars, the same church. But today, the man she was marrying was someone else. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was a text from Victoria. Ethan, there's something I've kept from you for a long time. You were switched at birth. My real son is refusing to return home. He says he will only come back if you pack your things and go back to your biological parents. My throat tightened as I watched the stage. My finger hovered over the screen. On stage, Zach was sliding the ring onto Chloe's finger. She held Zach's arm, and as she looked out at the crowd, she finally spotted me. Her face paled, and she quickly rushed down the aisle toward me. Ethan, don't get the wrong idea. Zach was being forced by his family to marry a twice-divorced, ugly older woman. I only did this to save him. I didn't want you to watch your best friend get miserable. Her excuse was pathetic. Seeing her standing up there, softly accepting another man's kiss on her forehead, compared to the countless nights she had recoiled from my touch, it was a sickening joke. Noticing how white my face was, Chloe dragged me into the dressing room. She poured some of my heart medication into her palm and held it out. Ethan, you look terrible. Take this. I didn't take it. The pill slipped through her fingers, scattering all over the floor. Chloe, those nights you refused to sleep in my bed, was it really because of your PTSD? Or did I just disgust you? My voice shook violently, my chest heaving. I wanted an answer. I wanted her to admit she had loved me, to admit her physical rejection wasn't because of who I was. Suddenly, a little boy rushed out from behind the rack, shoving me hard against the wall. Bad man, don't hurt my mommy. I stumbled backward, my head slamming hard against the sharp edge of the windowsill. A warm liquid instantly flowed down my forehead, staining my white collar crimson. The little boy sat on the floor, wailing. Chloe's hand, which had instinctively reached out to catch me, froze. She pulled her hand back and scooped the boy into her arms. Ethan, no matter how angry you are, you can't take it out on a child. I leaned against the wall to steady myself, looking at the two of them. My head had never been clearer. I tapped my screen and sent the reply to Victoria. I understand. I'll swap back. I'll pack my things and move out within a week. Zach rushed into the room, shielding Chloe and the boy behind his back, looking at me with hostile eyes. But once he saw the blood dripping down my face, his expression faltered. Ethan, the kid didn't know any better. Don't take it to heart. We've been brothers for over a decade, I said, my voice hoarse and raw. Zach, how long have you two been doing this behind my back? I never knew she had two completely different faces, one for you, and one for me. Zach panicked, his lips trembling. After a long silence, he seemed to find his courage, raising his chin. Before I knew I was the real Reynolds heir, I was so jealous of how Chloe treated you. But ever since that night she climbed into my bed by mistake, I saw the necklace on Victoria's neck. That's when I knew. I am the real son. Chloe stepped out from behind Zach, standing firmly by his side. I took a deep breath. Even if you hated the universe, why did you have to sleep with my woman? Zach, we've been brothers for so long. Zach's eyes turned bloodshot, his emotions boiling over. Don't give me that charity bullshit. If we hadn't been switched, all of this, including Chloe, would have been mine. Am I wrong? I would have been the rightful heir of the Reynolds group, not some guy hiding in the shadows while my son is called a bastard. He glared at me, his voice full of resentment. Ethan, have some conscience. You enjoyed my luxury life for over 20 years. How could you live so peacefully? Chloe instinctively reached out to support me as I swayed, but then she looked at Zach with a sigh. Zach, stop it. Why should I stop? Why do I have to be the one who suffers? I should just leave then. Zach yelled, spinning around and storming out of the room. Chloe's throat bobbed. She gave me a long, complicated look. Ethan, just go, I whispered, closing my eyes to hold back the sting. If his suffering was because of me, I had no right to argue. But in my heart, I kept asking myself, what did I do wrong? What luxury did I actually enjoy? For the last 20 years in the Reynolds family, Victoria had trained me ruthlessly to be the perfect successor. Anything I wanted, I had to earn myself. At 17, while my classmates went on European vacations, I was stressing over college tuition, book fees, and living expenses. I had no holidays, no childhood, and even my marriage was prearranged. I thought my life was just a set program. I never expected Chloe to be my only variable. And now, that variable had turned into a bomb that blew my life to pieces. As I walked out of the venue, I ran right into Victoria. Victoria, I am not your mother, she interrupted coldly. My throat felt like it was blocked by concrete. I forced myself to correct my words. Mrs. Reynolds, where is Zach? She asked, searching the lobby. When she saw him across the street, she ran straight toward him without looking back once. I watched her go. Across the street, Zach was crouching by a tree, venting his anger. Chloe was half kneeling beside him, comforting him. It looked exactly like our engagement party years ago. Back then, Chloe had stood before Victoria, promising to always stay by my side and love me forever. Looking at it now, it was nothing but a sickening farce. My phone rang continuously. I picked it up. Is this Ethan Reynolds? This is the National DNA Registry. We found a match for your genetic profile. We need one more blood sample to confirm. Once the results are out, we will notify you immediately. Okay, I'll send it as soon as possible. I hung up, walking aimlessly down the street. Suddenly, Chloe ran up and grabbed my arm. Ethan, I'm not going to leave you just because of your identity. Can you please be reasonable? Don't make things difficult for me. If I didn't know our marriage was a sham, I might have actually believed her. I might have pitied her. I looked up, barely dodging a speeding car. Seeing my silence, her tone softened. The Reynolds Group is holding a press conference tomorrow to announce Zach's return. He's feeling very insecure right now. Since you two used to be close, I need you to be there to support him and show the media there's no bad blood. I nodded slowly, my body swaying in the cold wind. Through the corner of my eye, I saw Chloe reach out to steady me, but Zach pulled her back from behind. I averted my gaze. These things never belonged to me anyway. Giving them back was only a matter of time. Fine, I'll be there. The day of the press conference arrived. The reporters were all waiting to see the downfall of the once proud Ethan Reynolds. They wanted to see the imposter fall from grace. But in the very last minute of the countdown, the entire venue erupted into chaos. I snapped my head around to look at the giant screen. The embarrassing photos of Zach's wild past had vanished. Instead, they had been replaced by compromised, highly inappropriate photos of me, each one 10 times more humiliating than anything Zach had ever faced. A flood of abuse immediately came crashing down on me from the crowd. I knew this Ethan guy was trash. He was afraid the real heir would take his spot, so he leaked these to ruin him. How malicious. The real heir is the victim here. Put Ethan in jail. Get him out of here. The press conference was abruptly cancelled, and the room descended into madness. Zach clutched his head, looking like he was on the verge of a mental breakdown. He glared at me with pure hatred. Ethan, how could you do this to me? I never wanted to hurt you, but you're trying to drive me to suicide. I opened my mouth to explain, but a barrage of plastic water bottles slammed into my face and chest, cutting off my words. I shielded my head. Through the gaps of my arms, I saw Chloe quickly ushering Zach out of the hall. I didn't do this. Chloe, do you really think I'm that kind of person? I screamed, but before I could take a step, my feet swept through empty air. Someone had shoved me violently from behind. I fell off the 2-meter-high stage, my vision instantly going black as the insults continued to rain down. When I woke up, I was in a damp, dark basement. A harsh light turned on, revealing me tied hand and foot, kneeling on the cold concrete. Chloe stood half hidden in the shadows. She dragged me up by my collar. You did it. Her voice was filled with absolute certainty. I didn't. Chloe, is this really who I am in your eyes? I told you, I would never do something so pathetic. I desperately tried to explain, but she didn't listen to a single word. Set up the cameras, she ordered coldly. Several burly men walked in. They dumped a bucket of filthy sewer water right over my head. Their grip was brutal and ruthless. Lick, lick, lick. The camera shutters went off. I reeked of filth, my face pressed hard into the muddy floor. Every shred of my dignity as a man was crushed to dust.